We're live here with Ben. Ben, how do you pronounce your last name?
Ebig.
Ebig. That's what I thought. We're here with Ben Ebig. He is a video coach, editor, business coach, consultant. He's co-authoring a book that's coming out soon, as well as he has also been in Russel Brunson's 2 Comma Club X coaching. And I'm super excited to have you on today. And anyone that's on here, if you're excited, if you want to learn how to create an amazing YouTube experience for yourself, go ahead and drop down a hashtag Ben, double Ben right there, Ben on the hashtags. Okay, Ben, I'm going to open up to you. Why don't you go ahead and just share a little bit about your story? Where did you start? How'd you end up becoming who you are today? And what happened in between?
Awesome. Thanks for the introduction, man. That was great. And thanks for having me. So, hello, Facebook land. Hello, hashtag team live. Hello, hashtag team replay. My name is Ben Ebig. I help online entrepreneurs structure their videos. I help them plan out their YouTube channels. And as you guys have heard, I wasn't always this way. The way I kind of got started is that I graduated from high school. I didn't quite know what I wanted to do with my life, as a lot of people that age, jumping out of the educational system. But I knew that I didn't want to go the traditional route. So I took a couple years off and tried to plan out my life. And I did a video game YouTube channel, and I got really in depth into it. I taught myself how to use some of the editing programs that I got access to, along with the fact that I had a great teacher in high school that taught me how to get into some of the film space and the post-production space. And I started to go into the thought of maybe I want to continue doing some of this stuff. I always had a deep passion for art and for creation. This feeling of, if I create something and it invokes emotion, then that's a deep gift of mine that I have, and no one can take that away from me. And I started to take some beginning courses in college, and I started to look into film production courses in my community college, which were really great courses. And I started to think that, do I want to continue to go this route? Do I want to continue to have these life-defining skills, especially in our time of the digital age, only to work on someone else's dream, someone else's production, someone else's film idea? And so I was always encouraged by my peers to, you should really continue your college degree. But I knew in my heart I didn't want to do that. And as I was continuing this journey of mine, I was starting to get YouTube ads by Tai Lopez and all these other online entrepreneurs who were targeting people my age. And I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I was starting to buy into some of this stuff. And some of the courses that I was starting to buy into were young entrepreneurs just starting off, like the non-Tai Lopez people who were like, I was their first people buying into their course. And one of them, who I'm still in contact with, his name is Franco Urbaez. He was just starting off his program, and I had the pleasure of getting in his network. And he now has his 2 Comma Club award. And he was the first person that told me, I'm going to all these networking events, and I'm getting to meet other entrepreneurs for the first time, and I'm getting this one-to-one experience with people. And I'm watching this from the computer screen like a lot of people are watching this live right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, what is Franco doing that I'm not? And Franco told me about this one particular event out of all of them that he went to, where it's like, I went to this event and my income skyrocketed like never before. And I'm like, wow, this is like a magical fairy tale that he's telling me.
Yeah.
And a full year came around and I got hit by a Facebook ad for that same event. And I texted him up and I said, hey, bro, isn't this that same event that you told me about? And he said, yes, it is, man. You must go to this thing. And without even thinking about it, I looked up on Expedia. I found the arrangements that I had to make, and I went to it. And
what was the name of the event?
This was Funnel Hacking Live. Not this year, but this was last year. And
okay, nice.
The mindset that I had at the time when I was texting him was, this guy has accomplished. He is where I want to be. So when I ask these questions and when he gives me like, you have to go to this event, we can't waste time on, oh wow, what if it doesn't work? Oh wow, how do I come up with this and that and this? Don't search for the excuses. Don't search for the reasons not to do something. Ask your question. Ask the right questions of, how do I accomplish this thing? And so I made the arrangements. I came up with the funds, and I made my way to my very first networking event. And this was Funnel Hacking Live, my very first event, and that's when I was pitched on Russel Brunson's high ticket coaching program. And I said earlier in the story that I didn't want to, in my deepest heart, I did not want to go to college, but my peers wanted me to. And it was in a moment of time of not even less than 20 minutes that I made the decision to invest in coaches rather than in the educational system, because I wanted to surround myself with people who were doing what I wanted to do in life, that were the people who were making the commitments and the mindset that I wanted to make, rather than the people who were just going with the flow of everyday life.
And then what happened, Ben? You're such a great storyteller. Oh my goodness, it's incredible. Okay.
I'm so glad you asked.
Sorry, go on. Yeah, what happened next? I want to know. You're leaving I'm on the edge of my seat.
Thank you so much, Michael. I'm so glad you asked. I wanted to pause for feedback for a moment. So what happened after that was something I wasn't quite expecting. Was that it's interesting, because looking back so for those of you watching on replay, I just came back recently from Funnel Hacking Live 2020. And looking back from my first Funnel Hacking Live to the Funnel Hacking Live I just came back from, the first Funnel Hacking Live I came back that I went to, I was someone who, like, I spent a lot of time in my hotel room. I did not want to go out and talk to people. It was very difficult for me to start up networking conversations. And the level of difference from last year to this year, I'm the one approaching people. I'm the one initiating the conversations. And sometimes when you're looking at yourself in the mirror every single day, it's difficult to see the level of growth that you have. And going through that program, it allowed me to confront problems that I didn't even know that I had, in self-confidence, in questions that I didn't know that needed to be asked, in not just funnel building. Like I bought into it, so it's like, all right, this is the highest ticket funnel building that I'm gonna have. Like this is what I need. But it wasn't just funnel building. It was systems. It was learning how to carry myself in these Zoom conversations. It was knowing the right niche to direct myself in. Last year, I was focusing my entire business on Facebook Messenger bots, and I had to. I obviously have, because of the introduction of this Zoom call, I have switched, and a lot of people I know from that program have at some point in time switched their business. And if you're someone who's watching this, if you're thinking about switching your business, I want you to know that is okay. That is perfectly fine, because it is much worse to go 5 years in a niche, in a business, in a clientele base, in a customer base that you hate, versus just switching when you know that there is something else out there, that there is a who out there that you need to be serving. And it is better to just have that learning experience, because it better serves you, so that it can better serve your who.
That is such an important message. So what you're saying, Ben, is it's okay to switch gears.
Yes. Yes,
So
Michael.
you're saying that if I'm doing something and it doesn't really bring me joy, doesn't really bring me energy, and then I kind of feel that, it's okay for me to switch to a different path that's more fun, more aligned, and feels better.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. And so what about this new journey that you're on kind of brings you that more energy, brings you that more joy, and brings you that more aligned energy?
This I'm glad you asked. So this new journey I'm on, last year I was looking at my phone. I mentioned before that I had a video game channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at some of the numbers from my old video game channel, and one video I looked at in particular, it had always performed very well. It had always gotten very high views.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then, I would still get a comment from a new person seeing that video.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, this entire year I've been focusing on growing this new business. I haven't done anything with this channel. And yet this video that I posted in 2016 is still getting views, is still bringing in new people, is still having comments that saying, hey, thank you so much. You provided so much value. I just subscribed to you. Like, thank you. I'm not posting or doing anything. And I know exactly what I did to create this video. Why am I not? I felt like I felt angry, almost angry at myself for just having all of this skill, all of this service, all of this potential, that almost like I had a sword on my back that's like, hey, you've got this really great weapon on you. Why are you not using it? And it's like, I don't know. When you ask me that question, I don't have a good reason. And so I felt almost the call to utilize all of these skills that I was literally getting notifications for, it's like, you have a really good thing here. Thank you for bringing me all this value. It's like, dang it. I'm mad at myself for not doing this as my thing. And so it was actually around New Year's, because New Year's resolutions. I saw like a whole bunch of other people on my feed. It's like, hey, I'm switching. in my space, and it's like, and that's when it hit me, like everything I just went through. It's like, you know what, seeing other people switch, and you know what, switching is okay. And that's when I made the self declaration to both myself and my network that this is a thing that I am good at, and we're making that change here today.
Awesome. So I'm going to take a quick second. We're talking with Ben Ebig right here. If you want to connect with him, you can go to bit.ly/Ben. That's Ben Ebig. That's E as in Edward, B as in boy, I as in indigo, G as in girl, home. So that's Ben Ebig home. And it's bit.ly/Ben Ebig home. And if you want to connect with Ben, you want to find out more about what he's doing, that is the place to do it. If you're on here live, go ahead and drop a hashtag YouTube star, hashtag YouTube fame, hashtag follow your path. And awesome. So now that we've reached that, you decide to change, we're moving in that direction. Now what I'd like to know is, how do other people do the same?
How do other people do this? Are you asking me how they...
Sorry. Not changing directions. How do people establish themselves on YouTube?
So, pardon me while I get on my video soapbox here.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Get up on the soapbox. All
right. So here's and if anyone's like watching this live and you would like me to do this, like use you and your niche as an example, please comment your niche and so on as an example, and I will totally be happy to pick on you. And so you can go ahead and go do this right now. So a couple points I like to tell people to hit on is this. Number one, starting off, this all revolves around you knowing your ideal who. So if there's still unanswered questions about your ideal who, you'll need to go figure that stuff out, or you might be able to learn that stuff through posting videos. So a couple things you'll need to do is figure out what their big pain points are. Figure out what the big questions that they are going to be asking. Figure out what their big struggles are, because you're going to make videos about these things. Because the thing to remember is YouTube is not a social network. It is a search platform, and people are searching for their problems. If my microwave is broken and I need to find out how to fix it, like right now, my microwave is broken. We have a broken light bulb in there, but everything else works just fine. It's like, wow, I wonder what kind of light bulb my microwave takes, and I wonder how to fix that light bulb. I can go to YouTube and find out the answers to things and get instructional videos on such things. And that is a problem, and that is a pain point. Now, for your ideal person, you have to figure out what are their problems and their pain points, and how can you solve them very quickly, because we're in a fast-paced world. People are looking to get their problem solved very quickly, but when I'm on my phone, there's many apps that I can go through and pick. But if I've got the Facebook and the YouTube sitting next to each other, if I go on Facebook, I'm looking for a distraction. If someone goes on YouTube, psychologically in the back of their mind, they're making the commitment that they'll be there for at least 10 minutes or more. So you're at least got their attention. So let's say you are in the niche of, pick something out of thin air. Let's say you're in the parenting niche. And yeah, this is a good one. Let's say you're in the parenting niche. Your niche is first-time new parents. And you're wondering, okay, how do I enroll my kid in the school system? And that's a quick problem. That's a quick pain point. It's like, I've got a first kid. I don't know how to do this, but I know I'm required to by law. So how can I do this? And so you can easily make a quick video. And I would always say phrase the title of your video. Think of it almost like a Jeopardy question. So I see a lot of entrepreneurs making their videos titles like 3 ways that you can do yada, yada, yada. Don't phrase your title videos like that. If you've got something like 3 ways that you can build a funnel, or 3 ways that you can go live for your business, don't phrase it like that. Instead of saying like 3 ways that you can go live for your business, if you're going live for your business, like most people hate going live. People dread going live. The reason why we go live is because we're hoping to get a specific result. And what is that result? We're hoping to connect with our individual who's. We're hoping to generate leads. We're hoping to help out our people. And so instead of saying like, hey, 3 ways to go live on Facebook, instead title that video like how to connect with your ideal who without paying for advertising. Now, you're not addressing the painful thing, which is going live. You're addressing the result that they actually want to get, the desire, which is generating leads. And you're attacking the enemy, which is advertising. It's almost like you were writing a headline. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me. So just reflect it back to you. Basically, when you're creating titles for videos, especially on YouTube, you want to phrase it as what? As a question. Or how to. No, you want to phrase it as a question.
Phrase it as a question.
And you want to not address the thing that you're teaching necessarily, but you want to address the pleasure or the outcome that people want. You want to give people the benefit. So let's do one more example. Let's talk about the coaching, consulting. Like, let's just say like Facebook consulting, Facebook ads, or marketing consulting for local businesses, or coaching.
Absolutely.
One of those. Which one meets your flavor, do you think?
So
that's okay. I got one. So I got one, Ben. So let's say I'm a person who teaches like organic Facebook attraction marketing, right? And I want to make a video on that, but I wouldn't say how to get organic. Would I say how to get organic leads on Facebook, or would I put it something else?
I wouldn't. That again, this would come down to your ideal who, because would you say organic leads on Facebook? That might qualify as a buzzword. Is your who using that terminology? So instead of how to generate organic,
probably not.
Is your who saying organic leads on Facebook? They might be saying how to generate natural traffic on Facebook without breaking the bank.
Nice. And then how would you phrase that as a question?
I would say that's good as is.
Okay. Nice.
That's good as is. Another good strategy to keep in mind when you're planning out your videos is plan out. Obviously, you want to structure out stuff like we're talking about here. I mentioned that I had like a good video that I planned out for my gaming channel. That specific video was spontaneous. And so it's important to know when your ideal who is in pain at a specific moment. So there might be something said in a community environment. There might be something said in a political environment that, going back to the example of like at home moms, there might be something said that affects a specific niche that you can then make a video around. There was recently back in January, there was some laws that were possibly going to be put into place around YouTube that are that eventually became like not as they were fluffed up. Let's say that.
Okay, gotcha.
But a lot of people took advantage of the situation, and there were popular YouTube channels. There were channels that were made by lawyers that were making a whole bunch of videos around this stuff. And that's an example of opportunities that can be presented to your ideal who, that they might be panicking around something that's said in the political environment, that something is said in any sort of environment that your who is in, that you can then come in as the expert that you are and say, hey, I've got the news here for everyone.
Okay, so you really want to be okay. So let's chunk up a little bit, right? So we were talking about that one specific video at first.
Yep.
So, or like one video, one idea, one problem, one pain. But as we get into like a bigger kind of plan, I was about to say a scheme, but we're not scheming. But just like a bigger plan, as far as a content strategy on YouTube, it's really important to pay attention to the trends, and that can inform videos.
Correct.
Now, are there other things that should inform video content creation as well?
Are there other things that should inform video content creation? I would say one thing that I'm planning out right now for myself is we call them content buckets. Really, that's a fancy term for just saying planning out your playlists. So if you go on to large YouTube channels and you go over to playlists, you see that they're like, you might have a YouTube channel that has like 3,000 videos, but then if you go over their playlists, all of a sudden 3,000 videos are very well organized. If you're starting off right now, if you don't have a YouTube channel and you were to start off right now, almost picture for yourself, open up a Google document or a notepad right now on your phone. Imagine what would your playlists look like if you were 100, 200, or 300 videos in. And that helps you really strategize and envision your videos down the road.
That's so good. I was about to do it, but then I realized that I wasn't here. But if you're on here right now, take out your phone, imagine yourself 100, 200, 300 videos in. You're creating content every week, every month. And what are the playlists that you're creating for your audience? Do it right now. If you're on here, go ahead and drop a hashtag 100 videos deep, hashtag live, hashtag replay, hashtag Ben Ebig. And I'm going to take this moment. We're on here with Ben Ebig. And if you want to connect with him and you want to learn from him more in depth, you can go to bit.ly/Ben Ebig home. Ben Ebig home. That's all lowercase, bit.ly. All right. So, okay, that's an awesome tip. So far we got a bunch of awesome content that's coming out. I want to kind of move over a little bit. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
Kind of transition a tiny bit.
Segue.
So segue right here. I'll do a little music. Segue. All right. So I know that you're co-authoring a book, and I'd love for you to share about like what that. So the book is called $1 Million Story, Volume 2, and I know that that you're co-authoring it, but I would love to hear more about that project. Oh my goodness, there's volume 1. Whoa. Okay. So I tell me all about this and about your work as far as authoring and writing.
Yeah, I'm excited to. So, yeah, as I crept into the frame right there, this is $1 Million Story, Volume 1. And I actually had the pleasure of knowing a lot of the people in this book. They were at Funnel Hacking Live, and hashtag humblebrag, I got it signed by a lot of them. And the person that does all the planning and does the publishing and co-authoring, her name is Jamie Wolf. She owns a book publishing agency, and so she helps entrepreneurs and all of us get our books into the physical world. And she just started her. She was also in 2CCX, by the way. That's how I know her.
Gotcha.
And this was her first project, and I had the honor of getting asked by her to do $1 Million Story Volume 2, and this was a Amazon bestseller. And we already have plans to make Volume 2 an Amazon bestseller. And the way we kind of do this is that, so this is a co-authored book, and if you've ever seen Chicken Soup for the Soul, that book is structured in the same way. That is a very very highly respected, very good selling book. Chicken Soup for the Soul, the author of that book has not written any of the words in those books. Those are all public domain stories, but they sell very well. And so this is a story where, like, we all came together, we wrote a book, and a whole bunch of entrepreneurs came together. And when Jamie came to me, I was initially hesitant to write a chapter for the book. She came to me and she said, "Hey, we're looking for someone to come on last minute. Do you want to be the person to come on for $1 Million Story Volume 2? And I said, "Jamie, I'm not sure that I'm your person." And she said, "What makes you hesitant to come on for the book?" And I said, "Because I've never really read a book to completion before. I have a learning disability in reading and writing. So for me to sit down and write a book is a unfathomable challenge for me." And she said, "What if I took the structure of the book chapters and I asked you the questions over a Zoom call and we transcribed it, and that was your chapter?" And that's what we did. And so she interviewed me. We transcribed the actual meeting. I cleaned it up. I added to it because I switched my direction of my business, and that was my chapter. And I wrote a chapter of a book while barely writing a chapter of a book.
Wow. That's so awesome. Welcome to the few. Did I lose you? Okay, we're on here with Ben Ebig. Ben, can you hear me still?
You were kind of skipping there a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, we're back. We're back in action. So I was just saying that's an awesome story. I would say that's $1 Million Story, Volume 2. So what other? So the stories inside the book are about entrepreneurs. Is that correct?
Correct. They are basically our origin stories. They're the stories that we may not necessarily always tell publicly. And there's a couple things in here. there's a couple of things in here that I did not know about my fellow entrepreneurs. Hashtag public plug. One of my friends, Aaron Stewart, he put a story in here about how he once had an AK-47 pointed to his head, and he made it out alive. Yeah. Another one of my friends in here, his name is Nick Fitzgerald. He owns Friendly Giant Films, and he is 6'9", and at one point his entire family was on food stamps, and he joined the same coaching program that I did, and he now owns his own business and does video for other businesses like around the country now.
Wow. That's incredible. So they're just stories and stories of the origin of entrepreneurs, business owners, impactful people in the world. That's incredible. And you're in volume 2.
Yep.
And do you know the release date, or is it still kind of up in the air?
I do not have an official release date for you. I know that like in the coming weeks or so, we're going to be assembling everyone's chapters and pushing them out to the people that need them. So it should be soon. It should be in the coming months. So you'll see it on the Amazon best-selling list, and you can totally see it on bit.ly.com/Ben Ebig, as well as following and friending me on my personal profile.
Nice plug. Yes, bit.ly/Ben Ebig home. That's it. It's scrolling across the screen, and it'll be in the links below as well. So thank you for sharing that. And definitely you want to connect with this guy, Ben here. He's an amazing gentleman. And so I know that you were in the 2CCX coaching program, and I'm curious, what was your biggest takeaway? What was the biggest, most impactful lesson that you learned that you could share here today on the Tribe of Fun podcast?
So we're talking
take
about
a moment to think about it.
Yeah. You're asking that question, and you're talking about a period of time that was like 7 plus, probably 10-ish months. But I think that the biggest takeaway and this is definitely a question where it's like you ask 10 people, you're gonna get 10 different answers. So there's no here's a piece of paper with your $1 million answer. There's none of that. Full disclosure to anyone listening here. I would even say that one individual big takeaway that a lot of people, a big misconception that people had going into this program is that there is no piece of paper that I can hand you. There is no and here's your mathematical formula for making your funnel for success. And that is sometimes the impression that people can walk away with from funnel hacking lives, that, so someone I funnel hack people and then I have a great funnel. And if I funnel hack a lot of these people that have 2CC that have the award, then maybe I can become a millionaire. That's not how any of this stuff works. I can't just math my way to $1 million. That's not how life works at all. That alone is one big takeaway, is that there's you can have all the correct math, but there's so much emotion that goes, and there's so much emotion and personal growth that goes beyond that level of success. And another important takeaway to be coupled with that is that there was definitely points within that program where I was I was going full 100% entrepreneur and not setting aside time to do the things that I want to do. And insert whatever you want into this portion of the story, like the things you want to do, whether it be spending time with your kids, going to play golf, going to play video games, just sitting down and watching soap operas. Whatever that thing is, I wasn't setting aside time to do those things to re-energize. And it was having a negative impact on my business. And it was having a negative impact on my business, and it was having a negative emotional impact on me. And it was to the point where I had a coach sit down with me and say, Ben, go to your Google Calendar and set aside an hour and a half every single day for bedtime. And that is the number one thing that I try to impart to people, is that if you lose sight of the reason why you started this journey, what's the point?
I'm just going to let that soak in with everyone out there. And say it again, Ben. Start with if you
lose sight of the reason why you started this journey, what's the point?
What is the point? What's the point for you?
Mm-hmm.
So good, Ben. That is an incredible piece of insight. So do you still have Ben time every single day?
I do have Ben time every single day. Sometimes it changes forms. Sure. Sometimes it's me sitting down playing Devil May Cry. Sometimes it's me going out to Culver's and having a burger with my dad. Shortly after I hop off this podcast, I have some time today. Some of my family is in town. I am going to be going out to lunch/dinner with them and enjoying some of their time. But yes, I do have Ben time, and Ben time is great. Sometimes Ben time is at 3 a.m. when everyone is asleep, but Ben time is every single day.
Nice. Excellent. And so, okay, so just to cover what you learned, a few pieces, because I'm sure there's way more, thousands of other bits of little gems that you learned and things that transformed your life. But the things that you shared today is that you can't math your way to success. You can emote your way into it, sort of. That's not really exactly what you said, but you can't math your way. There's no like clear cut. There's no formula. There's no secret sauce. It's only being committed to like who you serve and why you're doing what you're doing, and then always keeping in check the internal need for yourself, like giving yourself the respect to have your own time, enjoy that time, and remember why you got into this on this journey in the first place.
Absolutely.
So that's amazing. So I'm kind of switching I'm all over the place with my questions here, but we're going to switch back gears again. We're going to go back to YouTube. We're going to go back to video editing and content, because if you are looking to establish yourself as a YouTube channel without spending money on Facebook advertising, you're going to want to connect with Ben at bit.ly/Ben Ebig Home. That's BenEbighome. And Ben, if someone doesn't have a YouTube channel yet, what would you say are like the first 3 to 5 steps that they should take today? Serious action time. What do you think it would be?
The action time, I would say, number 1, plan out your branding. So, okay, what am I? So it much like this podcast. So you know who you're speaking to and what kind of content you're delivering to them. Same thing with a YouTube channel. Who are you speaking to when you're creating this YouTube channel? And what kind of content are you going to be making for them? What kind of value are you going to be delivering to them? And the next aside, like that, some people say like, oh man, like I need a logo and I need header image for my YouTube channel. I mean, like that stuff is secondary. It's like logos don't make a business. Logos are part of a business. Logos are part of your YouTube channel. Logos are not the essentials of your YouTube channel. I would say like starting off essentials are definitely like, who are you making these videos for? And then number two, definitely what I said back in this podcast is you need to plan out your playlist, plan out your content buckets. What do these playlists look like 100 videos in? That way you know a little bit of the skeleton of your YouTube channel, and that way you're not just making videos all over the place. And then 100 videos in, you're like, this stuff's kind of scattered. But if we plan out this stuff, like, okay, I got some content buckets. I got one playlist is going to be tutorial videos. Another playlist is going to be vlogs of me. One playlist is going to be my tutorial videos of me showing you how to knit. Another one's going to be like me vlogging of me walking around, of vlogging of thoughts on knitting. And another one's going to be like guest appearances of guests who are also talking about knitting, but it's all a YouTube channel about knitting.
Gotcha.
So, plan that stuff out, and then secondary that stuff is like thinking about like video editing. Are you going to do it yourself? Are you going to hire someone? And then logos, header images, at internal traffic, external traffic, that sort of stuff.
Awesome. So if you're on here today, I want you to take action because I know that you can be a huge contribution to the world, whatever you're doing, whoever you're serving. So take 30 minutes today, sit down with a piece of paper or your favorite laptop note-taking or phone note-taking application and ask yourself the question, who is it that I'm serving? Right? That's the first question.
Yep, that's the first question.
Second question, what do I want my content buckets to be? And that's it.
Yep, those are the big questions.
Those are the big questions. And if you answer those, they don't need to be perfect. They don't need to be the final end all be all of everything that you ever do, but it's a really good place to start. Just take 30 minutes, do it, set a timer, just rock out. Done is better than perfect every single time, because if it's not done and it never gets published because it was never perfect, then no one can see it. You can't share it with your friends. You can't share it with your perfect ideal clients. And you can't be your biggest contribution to the world. So thank you, Ben, for sharing those questions. I've been finding more and more that life is just about asking yourself and others the right questions. So those are two amazing questions. And me, as we're coming close to the end of this interview, I have 3 more questions for you.
Go.
So number one, is there anything that we didn't talk about on this live that you wanted to talk about or you wanted to share, that you wanted to just express to the people watching and people watching the replay?
It was an absolute pleasure being here. If you wanted to connect with me personally, if you wanted to seek me out for video editing, or you wanted to just simply connect with me, then you can go to the link that is scrolling by the screen, bit.ly/Ben Ebig home, or you can connect with me on Messenger, which it can also be found on my Facebook page, or you can find that also at bit.ly/Ben Ebig home.
Awesome. So amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And anything else? Anything else that you want to share?
Nothing else. Thank you, Frank.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I got 2 more questions. So number one, what are you extraordinarily grateful for right now in your life?
What am I extraordinarily grateful for? So, this is much like the 2CCX question, where this is like there's so much that I could answer. But I guess I'm extraordinarily grateful for the people in my life, the ones who have shown, and there's like I won't name names because there's just if I did then I would leave someone out. But just all the people who have shown me unconditional love, and the ones who have said, who when I have said I need help, that they're the ones who have answered. And it's that kind of support that I feel like makes the world go round, because there's so many people who, when they reached out to me for support, I would absolutely do the same for them in a heartbeat. And we're not related by blood, but I call them family all the same.
Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
So amazing. All right. Last question, Ben. What brings you joy in this world?
What brings me joy in this world? What brings me joy in this world is seeing others with joy. What brings me joy in this world is not just being able to create something, but being able to spread happiness in some sort of way.
Thank you so much for sharing that as well. This has been awesome. I just want to share my own gratitude for being on here. Thank you so much. I think that you shared a ton of valuable information and insights, and we talked about some action steps that people can really take to get started with their YouTube channel. It doesn't need to be complicated, and it doesn't need to be hard. And there's no magic formula. And you can just be you, ask yourself the right questions, and connect with Ben at bit.ly/Ben Ebig home. And yeah, that's about it. I'm going to call it. If you're on here on the replay, go ahead, #replay. If you're on here right now, #live. And we will see all of you in the future. Ba-na-na-na.